fucking intro.
Exactly. Hey, this is something different. I don't have an intro yet because we don't even know the podcast name yet. I'm Emmitt, obviously from the C Team Pod, talking nerds, the Bolt, all of it. This is Cameron.
Hello, I'm
Hey,
Cameron.
we're gonna be going over. Basically, this is gonna be a lot more laid back version of the C Team. This is the stuff we don't talk about there for the most part. We're gonna talk about here. Hopefully every Wednesday. Today we got some stuff. We're going to talk about Devontae Adams, the Packers, Cowboys quarterback situation, the rest of the NFC East. Some people, are they overrated or done? Baker Mayfield and Zach Taylor roughing the passer, and then we're going to talk about Lamar. I know that the Devontae Adams thing is that it's fresh, so we're going to start with that. We're going to start with that. Devontae Adams has been charged. If you haven't seen the video, I don't know where you've been. But Devontae Adams has been charged with, I think, misdemeanor assault.
Yeah,
because a cameraman stepped in front of him as he was walking off the field. And Devontae pushed him, so yeah, there is that. So technically, is it misdemeanor assault? Sure, but
by law,
it was.
Yes.
But it was the most obvious. It was the most obvious thing that was going to happen. He stepped in front of him, and the second it happened, you knew he was going to go to the hospital. You know he was going to claim he has concussion, whiplash, all this other bullshit. It was the most. I mean, it was so unbelievably predictable. And it's what was your reaction to it?
There's two things that I immediately thought as I'm like, okay, I should be behind bars because I do a lot worse after losing a Madden game. So like if I'm playing real football, and especially with all the pent up emotions that's going on for that team in general, like, and I go out there and we almost beat everyone's number one top ranked team, and it ends with Hunter Renfrow. He got it out for him. Derek Carr missing passes. I mean, that ain't like, I mean, and he had that drop. He had that one where he didn't get both feet in bounds, which I was very surprised by. But
yeah,
I mean, bro, all that, I don't know. I kind of like, I can see it from both sides. Because if I'm Devontae, I'm like, bro, get out my way. Like, you not about to get a cool shot. You should have been way up there. And also, like, if I'm the other dude, best believe I'm getting my bag. So
no,
like,
exactly no,
doing,
and it's,
but like,
I see what he's doing, but I think the craziest thing is the media coverage of it.
Because
that's the craziest part.
Why
of
is
the media
Adams
coverage
the villain of sports after what Draymond Green just did to his teammate?
Exactly, dude, and not even that, bro. He's not even. He didn't even do the worst thing of ex-Packers within the past month. He's getting 10 times the media coverage for pushing a camera guy that Brett Favre has gotten for stealing millions from the poorest state in the U.S.
I didn't even think about that.
Draymond Green sucker punched his teammate, and everybody's just like, oh, that's hey, that's just how it is.
Sources.
And there are people like, that's just how it is. Oh, that's tough.
Devontae Adams pissed off after a loss, and a cameraman decides to make a poor
charge in front of him. Yeah.
And I mean,
bullshit.
He just missed his moment. He should have run up a little bit and then cut in front. But he was like, nah, I'm going to just walk straight in front of this dude who's beelining it to the locker room.
Well, you know what it reminds me?
A good idea.
You know what it reminds me of? Have you seen that video of, it was a couple of years ago. I think it was 2019 or 2018. There was a dude for Fox. He was doing like the sound thing, and he ran in front of the Vikings tunnel as they were coming out, and they pummeled his ass.
And they ran him down.
And they ran his ass over because he was in their way. Exactly. No, and that's exactly what it reminded me of.
There should have been at least 30 charges on them. Take the
have you seen that video?
I haven't seen that video. No.
Hold up. I'm going to look that up.
I don't know. I'm on the middle ground because I'm like, I mean, by law, technically that's a misdemeanor assault charge, but like, dog, if it was just two random ass people, I don't think that, one, nobody would be gunning for Devontae Adams the way that they are, and two, the guy wouldn't even press charges. He'd just be like, damn, I got in your way. That's on me.
Look at it. Look at this shit. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Direct contact with the hands. I call that a push. Look at him. He's just looking down on him like, you idiot.
And then he was okay afterwards. But I mean, like, seriously, Like, tell me the difference. Obviously, they're running out of the tunnel full speed, and Devontae
I
is
think
walking.
the difference is Devontae pushing him. But
Literally, but like this, the dude is in their way. He's
yeah,
in their way, right?
that's the thing.
Okay,
Is like Devontae, like he pushed the dude, but the dude was in his path. Like, what else was gonna happen? Is he just gonna walk straight into him? He was clearly like he ain't stopping because he don't want that dude to start taking pictures of him, and he don't want everyone else pulling up. He was by himself. He was trying to get out of there.
Yeah, and it's again, Devontae was not right for pushing him, but like people are acting like he did what Draymond Green did. Like I heard people were calling him a bad person, and I'm like, oh my, like again, he asked out of Green Bay, and I like exactly, and it's like he asked out of Green Bay, so I'm in no place to defend Devontae Adams because I'm still pissed that he wanted out of Green Bay, but that's not Devontae Adams, and people got to stop treating him like that. That's bullshit.
Case, like, bro, I know Tom Brady is a horrible person because you see the way he acts after he gets a loss
all the time. He's breaking tablets left and right.
And I guarantee you, if this same thing happened to him and he pushed down the cameraman would be getting charges for walking in front of him.
Facts. Well, I mean, again, we'll talk about roughing the passer later, but I mean, people are getting 15-yard penalties for breathing on the motherfucker as he's kicking him in the balls. I mean, shit, man. We'll get into that later. But hey, next up, my Packers, man. What the fuck? They dropped to 3-2 on the season, which I mean isn't that bad. But you blew a 14-point lead to Daniel Jones. You played Bailey Zappi, a third-string quarterback who was, I believe, a 6th-round pick as a rookie for the Patriots. You played him close. Your only really convincing win, honestly, the entire year was against the Bears. But congrats, that's what you do against the Bears.
Yeah,
man, like I know what's going on with them. But like there's no fixing it. Like I think I might have said it to you, but it's like I wish just getting rid of the defensive coordinator and like signing Odell would fix the issues. But I don't think that fixes shit because to be super honest with you, the defense was supposed to be the best. Like I came in here saying that I thought they were going to have the best defense in it. Huh?
It's just like every other year. They're supposed to be a top 15 defense every year, and then we get
they were quite literally. I thought they were supposed to be I thought they were going to be the best defense in the NFC. In points scored, they're what now? They got San Francisco's ahead of them, Dallas is ahead of them, Tampa Bay's ahead of them, the Giants are now ahead of them, and then it's Green Bay. They're at I think they're top 10 or they're 11th in scoring defense. Yards wise, they're fine. They're like top 6, but like they can't take the ball away. They can't take the ball away. They've caused 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers in 5 games. And here's
with
the thing.
All that talent.
And here's the thing. With all that talent, but here's the thing. They've caused 2 turnovers total against Bailey Zappi, Daniel Jones, and Justin Fields. They got lucky and got 2 fumbles off of the Bucks. They got lucky and got 2 fumbles off of the Bucks.
I was just kind of registering like Bailey Zappi and Daniel Jones not having 4 turnovers each in those games.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying.
Daniel Jones gets paid to turn the ball over.
I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, like I'll go and I'll find the stats, but like he has like he's got like the most
turnovers since he's been drafted or whatever. He's going crazy.
He has a ridiculous amount of fumbles. He has a ridiculous amount of fumbles. He has 48 career passing touchdowns and 31 picks. He has 11 total fumbles just when he's rushing. So that doesn't even count when he's like getting sacked
in the pocket.
Fumbled. Yeah. 11 fumbles, 6 of them lost. So if you want to only count that as 6, you do you. But the most embarrassing part of all of it, to be super honest with you, this was Daniel Jones' first 200 passing yard game of the season. Damn. Came against that secondary. Like, I'm sick to my stomach. I haven't
really watched all their games. I've watched a couple of them. I watched part of the Bears ones. Bears won. I watched the end of the Giants one. I think I watched a good part of the Patriots one. But to me, I'm just like, why y'all got these running backs? Why y'all got this duo of running backs if you don't want to feed them? Especially when like you just gave up the best receiver in football and now you want to try and get hella fancy with Rodgers. Like keep it simple. Y'all have have it right here. Just hand it off to these 2 goons. They're gonna go out there and do damage regardless. And if they're not, Like you're out there setting up a crazy play action, and you know Rodgers is gonna eat off that. Like I don't
Exactly.
understand. It seems really simple to me.
No, and honestly, it is. It is.
Like the
It's
wide
seriously,
receiver
it's
issue is not as big of an issue as you would think it would have been coming into the season.
no,
It's the
no, and
issue that they're trying to force it to these wide receivers.
And when you look at the stats, really, like it doesn't seem like Rodgers has been super bad. QBR is a flawed stat, but he's ranked pretty low in that. He's not a great passer rating either. But like he's 15th in attempts. He's like top 10, I'm pretty sure. He's 6th in completion percentage. Like he's looked good, good.
It's not like Rodgers
is
washed out there. It's just
no. He's not playing washed. Like it's what they have him doing. But like there's no reason in the game that we just watched with him. There's no reason he should be throwing the ball 39 times. And this is the most wild stat in the entire league. Aaron Jones, not shockingly, if you've watched Packers football, for the people that qualify, I would say, outside of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, who I'm just going to take out of it, outside of them, he's leading the league in yards per carry. He's getting 6.4 yards per carry, and they're like, nope, and he's 19th in carries. He's 19th in carries. What are you doing? I love Aaron Rodgers, but like
this guy twice, and it's a free first down.
It's a free first down. So, exactly. It's a free first down. Seriously. And like AJ Dillon hasn't been super great yards per carry wise this year, but he's a battering ram. Like if you need 2 yards at the end of the game, like they did, you can run him up the middle and he's going to get it. Again, the end of that game, the craziest stats I saw from the entire game. One is that they only had, I think, 20 carries on the day and 41 pass attempts. Rodgers was sacked twice. He only threw 39 passes. So they had 41 pass plays called. Mm-hmm. But it's like Christian Watson had one of the rushes on a reverse. Aaron Jones had 13 rushes and AJ Dillon had 6. Christian Watson did, but Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, none of them had a rush that was lower than 2 yards the entire day. And you don't go to that when the game's on the line? I mean, what are you doing?
And then you got on the other side, you got Saquon Barkley just doing exactly what they should be doing with 2 running backs.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And again, and that's all. And like the craziest thing of all of it is like Saquon didn't have some like crazy day.
Yeah. He was just doing the plays that they needed him to perform on.
Exactly. And it's the Packers, they keep talking about, hey, we're going to put our best 11 players on the field. So then they keep coming out with these 2 running backs and then they keep passing them on the field.
They just ain't doing nothing with them.
Well, and it's like Rodgers needs to stop. Like, and this is a huge like indictment on Rodgers, but it's like, stop passing to your buddies, dude. Run the damn offense. Stop passing to your buddies. You take a look and this year, guess who led the game in targets?
Randall Cobb.
He caught 7 passes. Guess how many targets he had?
15.
13. I mean, but close. When was the last time Randall Cobb got 13 targets? I couldn't tell you.
2015?
Probably. And
no,
now
it was actually probably 2 weeks ago.
You know what? You know what? You might be right to be super. No, he against the Patriots, he only had 4 targets. I'm going to go back and I'm going to find the last time he had 13 targets. Wasn't in, and I'm just going to talk about on the Packers, so I'm not going to count his Texans year and his Cowboys year. 11 targets in 2018. 14 targets in a game against Carolina, and that was the one that Rodgers came back from his car after breaking his collarbone and threw 3 picks. But like he has not had 13 targets or more in 5 years. What are you doing? Run the offense. Like stop, dude. You're a grown man.
I always make that joke.
You're a grown man, not a teenage girl. Stop playing with crystals. Dude, he needs to stop worrying about like the crystals and like the vibes and stop, dude. Play quarterback.
Just
play quarterback.
Yeah. I always make that Randall Cobb joke. I always make that
and then
Randall
it happens.
Cobb joke, and it actually happens. And I'm just sitting there like, why is this actually happening?
We're sitting here. I was watching the Patriots game, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, I don't know how this offense scores points. And then you said like, oh, Randall Cobb.
Just wait, Randall Cobb incoming.
100-yard fourth quarter incoming. He didn't get that. But next 2 passes,
all of a sudden
Randall
they start
Cobb
feeding him.
Yeah. All of a sudden they start feeding him. It makes no sense when you have, especially with the young talent that they have at wide receiver. It makes no sense to me.
I didn't really
whatsoever.
I was not a big I was like, damn, they're stupid as fuck when they drafted what's his name, Dobbs or whatever. But he's
Dobbs or
come out,
Watson. Oh, Dobbs. Yeah, or
yeah,
Dobbs was
he's
the
come
later
out
round pick.
yeah, he's come out, and I'm like, he's doing his thing. He's looking impressive.
Yeah,
I was not a believer in anything that they did for the offense when it came to drafting, but
yeah, dude, and
he's out here proving me wrong. I'm like, they look good together. They look like they got something. They got some chemistry growing. But also that he's probably really sucks to grow chemistry with like a 38-year-old quarterback. I don't know how old he is, but you're like, I'm gonna get a good 3 years out of him, if that.
Yeah, Dobbs is leading the team in targets. He's second on the team in touchdowns outside of he's second on the team in touchdowns outside of Allen Lazard with 3. He has 2. He's leading. I think he's like top 10 in the league in yards after catch. Like they need to feed him. They need to feed him. They need to feed Christian Watson. Again, until they start doing it, like I'm worried for this week against the Jets. I'm seriously worried. I'm terrified. Well, again, you look at their past 2 games.
The Jets coming out here. First of all, the Jets coming out here and blowing anybody out. I don't care about third string quarterbacks. That's handing crazy.
Out smoke.
Yeah, and they're gonna come off that momentum. Sauce Gardner gonna be feeling himself out there against 50-year-old Randall Cobb and a couple rookies. So
exactly. And the craziest thing of all of it, I don't know, it's Rodgers has been so ineffective on the deep ball. And again, I like the PFF stats that they have. I like the stats that they have. I hate their grading system because I think that their grading system is incredibly flawed.
Yeah, I'll see. Yeah, bro, it'd be a no-name slot receiver. They show his PFF rank and it's like 4 out of 47. I'm like, what? What?
Yes,
he probably had 4 snaps this season.
It'll be someone who like has not done anything the entire year. You've never even heard of him, but hey, he's ranked high by PFF.
They're hella efficient because they got 4 catches for 40 yards.
Exactly. No, but
right up the ranks.
Like Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna say, let's see, I'm gonna do 20% of their attempt. Okay. Aaron Rodgers this year in deep completion percentage, so passes over 20 yards, like in air yards, like not just like a screen that goes 20 yards. He's 30th in completion percentage. He's tied with Kyler Murray. He's worse than Zach Wilson, Mitchell Trubisky, and Justin Fields. And he's 6 for 22 on passes farther than 20 yards. And here's the flaw. Here's the flaw in the PFF system because they have him ranked as the 13th best deep passer. And again, and everyone looks at that and it's like, oh, he must have a lot of drops. Nope, it's just the one with Christian Watson, the first play of the season. That was the only drop on those deep balls he's had.
Man.
Rodgers needs to figure it out. He needs to stop throwing up arm punts. He needs to stop doing this. He needs to stop doing this.
He's trying to get an MVP out there.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's okay. You can play hero ball when you're down and you need hero ball. He's throwing again
we're coming into games against the Giants and backup quarterback Patriots trying to do some crazy shit. Just win the
first drive. The first drive after they tied the game up, or after the Giants tied the game up. It's a 3-and-out. It was tied 20-20, and Rodgers deep right to Lazard missed. Short middle to Cobb. Cobb dropped it, but missed. And then another deep shot to Lazard. Run the ball. And if you're gonna do it, take some short stuff. It's a tie game. It is a tie game. You do not need to play hero ball against Daniel Jones. You don't need to do it.
Hey, 2022 might change that. Giants are 4-1.
It might change that. You know what? Who knows? But hey, we'll talk about the NFC East in a little bit, or the entire NFC East, but we'll start with the Cowboys. Cooper Rush, 5-0 now as a starter. He's 4-0 this season as a starter. The only loss of the season came in opening week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course, Dak Prescott got hurt in that. Cameron, should the Cowboys stick with Cooper Rush?
I mean, see, they got them in a really tough position right now because I don't know. You got to stick with your guy, but this guy is getting it done. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I mean, and also with how Dak was playing in that week 1 game, what we were already seeing. I mean, I don't see Cooper Rush out there trying to force it into triple coverage across the middle. I don't see. He's just out there. He's just getting his job done. They just plugged him into the system, and he's like, I'm ready to do it. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can see why you would say just stick with what we got, and I would not be mad. But I also wouldn't be mad if they came in and plugged Dak back in. But I feel like he's gonna be you're gonna be having a bigger eye on him than you normally would, because we just went from this dude who won us 5 games back to Dak, so he's got to be performing. And
yeah,
I mean,
and
I don't know. All I'm thinking about is those. I don't even know what I was watching. I don't know what he's seeing out there when he was throwing those passes across the middle in week 1, just trying to throw interceptions.
yep.
I mean,
Again,
maybe that's that week 1 rust. He didn't play preseason, whatever you want to say, but like, bro.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. 2016 when they drafted him, they had a top 5 offense points per game wise. 2017 they were closer to middle of the pack. 2018 I think they were really really middle of the pack, but that's the year that they got, and they were closer to the bottom, but that's the year that they got Amari Cooper around week 10ish and then really started to click. 2019 they were 6th in the league in offense. This is all in points per game. 2020 obviously they didn't have Dak and they were around the middle whatsoever. Last year they had the top scoring offense in the game. This is why right now they're 24th in points per game. 24th. So everyone likes to talk about, hey, Cooper Rush is doing all this. No, he's just not
he's just doing what they need him to do.
He's just not fucking it up. And like, and so, they're 24th in points per game. They're 27th in yards. And when you really look at it, they're 15th in rushing yards, but they're 27th in passing yards. So he's being effective as quarterback, but he's not super good. You know what's going to happen? And because I think they should stick with Dak Prescott, obviously. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to bring Dak back. They're going to decide, fuck the run game, and they're going to have him throw it 50 times. And then everyone's going to be like, see, Cooper Rush is better. Call the game the exact same way.
Yeah, they're going to be playing. They're going to be trying to make these big plays instead of running a proper offense, which is working
literally
flawlessly for them right now.
Literally,
when Dak comes back, Dak has a different talent. So
if they called the game, if they called the game pretty much exactly how they're doing it for Cooper Rush, if they called it like that for Dak Prescott, I truly think they have a top 10 offense. I don't think that they really have like the weapons.
Yeah,
but Dak, I think Dak is obviously better than Cooper Rush, and I think everyone knows that, and I think everyone just wants. I think everyone who isn't a Cowboys fan wants
the story.
They want the story of Cooper Rush coming out here. They just want to see the Cowboys fail, obviously.
Taking Dak, taking Dak's spot.
Exactly. But it's like if you throw Dak out there and you don't have him do too much, throw him out there. If you want to give him 5 or 6 more attempts a game than you're going to give Cooper Rush, that's fine. Because I don't think Cooper Rush, and the craziest thing of all of it is Cooper Rush, because, I mean, you and me, we joke about Dak Prescott in garbage time all the time, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking. We were bringing up the past year's stats was the fourth quarter, 24 points.
In Cooper Rush's entire tenure with the Cowboys, in terms of when he's been starting, guess what his biggest deficit has been?
Fourth quarter.
No. Guess what? How many points is the biggest he's been down by?
I don't know.
7. He's only been down by 7 points.
He ain't had to get those garbage time yards.
The team is playing way better for for Cooper Rush. The defense is better.
Yes, I was about to say the defense. That's what is really having Cooper Rush look like he's a god. Because that defense is out there just demolishing,
busting ass.
He just got to go out there and he's basically Russell Wilson and whatever the Super Bowl year was. He's just out there doing what they need him to do, and he's got a defense that's going crazy. The running game is clearly going crazy, and the
defense still has not given up. The defense still has not given up 20 points yet this season. The most they've given up was 19 on opening day. They're giving up 14.4 points a game. So if you're not a huge NFL fan, they need 5 field goal drives or 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion in order to beat their opponents. The defense has never played like this for Dak Prescott. But I don't know. Dude, there's no way that you can go back to, because watch, what's going to happen is they're going to bring Dak back first game, throw it 50 times, they'll lose, and everyone's going to be like, see, you should have stuck with Cooper Rush. No, you should have called the game the same.
Yeah. This is going to be a big Kellen Moore test. Now that we've seen what works, are we going to stick with it, or are we going to go back to what we were trying to push for the past 5 years that clearly is they're only
working.
clawing themselves out of games because
exactly
you push everybody back. You're like, they need to score. They're just
exactly
picking apart all these zones, and somehow all of a sudden Dak Prescott puts up 500 in the fourth quarter, but it still works. So
no, exactly. They need to. I don't know. Kellen Moore needs to figure it out. Mike McCarthy's actually like looked like a comparable, or yeah, he's looked competent at head coach.
That's why
for the
people
first
are
time
freaking
in
out
years.
about Cooper Rush, because he's out here making Mike McCarthy look like he should be a candidate for Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year, yeah. I don't know, but hey, the rest of that NFC
couldn't do that.
Yeah, the rest of that NFC East is wild. They have, I think, the best record outside of they have the best like record out of any division. Obviously, the Eagles are 5-0. The Giants and Cowboys are both 4-1. The Commanders are down at 1-4.
Quarterback.
But I'm pretty sure two of the Commanders' losses have one's come from the Eagles, one's come from the Cowboys. They lost to the Lions, and they should have beaten the Titans last week. So they're not. I don't think they're as bad as their record suggests. Although Carson Wentz is horrible. But do you think any of these NFC East teams are legit?
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I think it's the Cowboys out of all of them that's like the best. I mean, I don't know. I like the Eagles too, but like I just haven't seen what I want to see out of Jalen Hurts, which is like some crunch time, like let's get into it, whatever. Just like, I don't know. He's looking good though, don't get me wrong. Obviously, he's out there playing at a top caliber. He's come out and shown amazing improvement, but I'm just not seeing what I want to see. I haven't seen anything that's made me like, holy shit, this is a completely different player. He's just out there doing what they need him to do. But, he's just a different athlete. So that running game is just hit for him specifically. Is just, I think that elevates him a lot. But I don't know. I want to see some like shootouts. I want to see some shootouts with Mahomes or whatever, like whatever we got to see to make me be like, okay, Jalen Hurts is legit and I'm a believer now. Because I mean, I'm team Jalen Hurts, but I'm also not one of those like, oh shit, choo-choo, let's hop on the hype train and fucking get this shit rolling, because what happens when they drop 5 games in a row? I'm not about to be there for that. I feel like the Cowboys are legit. I can't say nothing about the Giants because, I mean, I don't know. They seem like one of those cases where this happens and you're like, holy, we got a playoff team here, and then they barely missed the wild card. So, I mean,
they really do remind me. And here's the thing: I think that the Giants really can be fantastic if they have a different quarterback at the helm. Like as long as they have Daniel Jones there,
with them,
because as long as they have Daniel Jones there, I'm always going to have questions about him. Seriously, like I know he's looked somewhat better this year, but like
after how
I'm not gonna lie,
somewhat better is not good enough.
Exactly. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, my Packers defense looked bad, but it wasn't because Daniel Jones was making them look bad. Like, it's not like he impressed me a whole lot. I mean, again, they're 4-1, and let me kind of read you through. Let me read you through some of their wins. Right, obviously. Week 1 against the Titans, the kicker for the Titans, Randy Bullock, Fat Randy, misses a 48-yard field goal that would have wound up winning them, or 47-yard field goal that would have wound up winning the Titans the game. Again, and this is the Giants went down there. They scored a touchdown. They gave up, they scored a touchdown, did a two-point conversion, right? And then they left about 1 minute and 6 seconds left on the clock, and the Titans drove out.
They gave them the win. They gave it to them, and then
they gave it to
kicker
them,
just choked it.
Couldn't handle it. So that's.
I was going to say if that's any other kicker, but probably like 3 kickers in the NFL, because what the fuck is happening with kickers?
Yeah, no. And so that's their week 1 win. They beat the Titans by 1. Then they go and they beat the Panthers by 3. And we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield in a minute, but yuck. Then they go and they lose to the Cowboys by 7 with Cooper Rush. Then they beat the Bears by 8. And to be super honest with you, that Bears offense looks like bad gross. Like not good gross, bad gross. And then you beat the Packers. So the Packers, I'll give you that. That's a solid win, although I'm not too high on the Packers right now.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I don't buy them. the Giants, I don't buy them. The
Yeah.
Eagles, I think I'm the closest to buying, and I think it's because they figured it out finally. They finally figured out how their team is going to be able to win. To be super honest with you,
that's how I feel about Jalen Hurts. If they finally are like, okay, let's build this around his strengths, which a lot of teams fail to do with young quarterbacks. So that's why I'm like, he hasn't amazed me, but they got him doing what he needs to do to put them in these positions.
Because you take a look at his passing stats. And his completion percentage is good. His yards are good, but like only 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. But then you look at what he's doing on the ground. He has almost 70 carries so far through 5 games. He's at 200 basically, or he's at 266 yards. He's not doing so well on the average, but he has 6 touchdowns. He has 6 touchdowns to 2 turnovers on the entire season. And if you take a look, and I'm pretty sure last year the Eagles were a pretty good team offensively when it came to running the ball, but it just took them forever to figure out, hey, this is what we got to do. They were the number 1 rushing team in football. They were getting almost 160 yards per game. And I think this year I think the Giants are the number 1 rushing team, or the Browns are, then the Giants and the Falcons. The Eagles are getting 160 rushing yards per game again. I think that they're averaging the most yards, or the Bills and then the Eagles are getting the most yards. I feel the most confident in them. I don't trust their coach necessarily, but he's making me trust him, right? Like, I think that you see,
this is a quick turnaround. All of a sudden we have a Super Bowl favorite in Philadelphia when
exactly. And they're
going into the season, I had no clue what was going on. I was just like, oh, AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, that's going to be fun to watch. Now we got
what sold them for me, obviously, well, one, their roster, their defensive roster is insane. A starter at every position that like feels pretty legit, right? I'm going to walk you through their defensive depth chart. Obviously, Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, they've been there for forever. Javon Hargrave at defensive tackle and Josh Sweat are pretty good. Their middle line, or their linebacking core isn't the best, but I think as Nakobe Dean kind of settles in, he'll eventually get there. But that secondary is pretty scary with James Bradbury, Darius Slay, and CJ Gardner-Johnson. It's a top what, 3-4 secondary in the NFL.
Yeah, for
really,
sure.
I mean, I didn't even mention Hassan Reddick, who they went out and signed in the offseason, and he's looked pretty good. The defense, I think that they're leading the league, if I'm not mistaken, in sacks, which I think they're either leading in sacks, or if they're not leading, they're close.
They're up there.
They're fourth in the league in sacks, 17. The only teams who have more are the Niners, Cowboys, Broncos, and Bucks are the only teams who have more. Actually, they're tied with the Broncos, and they're just ahead of the Bills. And then I think they're second in the league, or they're fourth in the league in sack yards lost, which means obviously the amount of yards you're pushing them back when you sack them. Yeah. Exactly, you're doing damage on them. So I buy them the most. The reason I don't buy Dallas is because I don't buy Kellen Moore and I don't buy Mike McCarthy, because they're going to come back, as we just talked about, and they're going to be like, hey, Dak, hey, throw this thing 45 times for us.
It's those first 8 weeks that get us all hyped up, and then everyone starts showing their true colors.
Exactly. So I'm gonna hold out on them. I'm just gonna go take a look just at the Cowboys stats so far this year. Dak hasn't played. He only threw the ball 29 times in week 1. But to be honest,
did he go out of that game?
I think fourth quarter. I think it was middle to late fourth quarter. Here, I might as well go check on it. But man, until they really show me, truly that they're going to be committed to just kind of letting the offense be the offense rather than just throwing a ridiculous amount of passes. I'm not going to buy him. But let's move on to another person I'm not buying. Is Baker Mayfield done? He's everywhere he goes, coaches get fired. Everywhere he goes, you take a look. Hugh Jackson fired. That one wasn't necessarily his fault, so that might be a little unfair because he just had gone 0-16, whatever the season or 2 seasons before.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackson gone. Freddie Kitchens, who Baker wanted, gone. Kevin Stefanski was smart and was like, get your ass out of town before you get me gone. And now Matt Rule, who again wasn't off to a hot start, but gone. And you take a look, and they are seriously, I truly believe that they are lucky that they ran into the Saints with Jameis Winston, because that's their only win, was a 24 or a 22-14 win over them. They got lucky that Jameis Winston stinks. Truly, truly, they got lucky that Jameis Winston stinks.
I don't know. I feel like everything that embodies this season for Baker Mayfield was just that interception he threw where he just couldn't get it to Christian McCaffrey somehow. I mean, I just saw that play and I'm just like, that's a Baker Mayfield play. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well,
it's just the way he throws the ball. I'm like, that ain't going nowhere. Like, this ain't going to be good.
He doesn't have some fantastic throwing motion. He doesn't even have, he doesn't like his entire, honestly, like the reason he got drafted number 1 is because he won the Heisman. Like, I don't think he wasn't this outstanding prospect. Again, he walked on twice. Mm-hmm. But man, this year he's really looking bad. You take a look, I'm pretty sure this is the lowest completion percentage he's had in his entire career in the NFL, but I'm pretty sure college too. He's looked really bad.
There's no excuses take a look when you surround this man with all these weapons, and it's 2 teams now.
Yeah,
there's Odell out, and then he went and was trying to win a Super Bowl MVP before he got injured.
Here's the quarterbacks that we've been shitting on these quarterbacks, right? We've been shitting on Justin Fields, Marcus Mariota, Joe Flacco, Mitch Trubisky, Jared Goff. All of them have a better completion percentage this year than Jared Goff or than Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield
2 of those people don't even start no more.
Nope, exactly. The only person in the NFL with at least 14 attempts per games played. So obviously you can do the math on that one. The only person with worse is Trey Lance, and Trey Lance left with a snap, a broken ankle in the second game of the season. Baker Mayfield he's been garbage. Like, he has been extremely garbage. And I don't even know at this point, like, I don't know how he's at this point. I keep saying this. He's not just playing for his career in Carolina. He's playing for his career
in the NFL.
He's playing for his NFL career, because honestly, I heard someone talking about this morning. He's going to be the exact same thing as bringing in Tim Tebow or Colin Kaepernick as a backup. The second something goes wrong, everyone's going to start calling for him. Mm-hmm. Everyone is going to start calling for Baker. And that's just, listen, you can do that when you have a Rodgers, a Brady, a Mahomes, a Allen, I was going to say Dak, but I don't. With Jerry Jones, you'd never know. Like, you can do that when you have a bona fide star at quarterback. You can't do that with Mac Jones or Jared Goff or insert mediocre quarterback here, right? You cannot Derek Carr, Carson Wentz. You can't bring him in. Like, you cannot bring him into that. He's been worse. Again, I was super low on Baker, but he has somehow this year been worse than Sam Darnold was last year. And everyone was like, Sam Darnold is garbage. And he's been worse. 4 touchdowns and 4 picks through 5 games.
I tried. I tried to invest. It was a horrible investment. I've lost. I don't even know. I have no words. I've just the few games I've watched from. I don't even really watch the Carolina Panthers on offense whenever I'm watching those games, because I'm just like, all right, just fast forward to whenever they turn it over or whenever they don't got the ball, because I don't want to watch that dumpster fire. Yeah, they really are about to push DJ Moore out of there because his quarterback is so bad. This man is tired of playing with bad quarterbacks.
Well, dude, and you take a look at it and it's like, bro, DJ Moore, I'm going to try to find the stats right now, but DJ Moore, every season of his NFL career, has had a 1,000-yard season. I'm pretty sure. I think I'm trying to remember exactly when he was drafted. He was drafted in He was drafted back in 2018. Or sorry, his rookie season, he did not. He had 788 yards. Then the next year, almost 1,200. The next year, almost 1,200. Another almost 1,200. Guess how many yards he has through 5 games this year?
I don't even imagine that he has 200 yards yet.
197 yards. He's averaging less than 40 yards a game. He's averaging his worst. He's averaging his worst average. He only has 1 touchdown on the season. His longest reception all these other years. And again, I realize that it's a long season, so maybe he'll eclipse these. But his longest reception in his rookie year, 82 yards. In his second year, 52. Last year, or 2020, 74. Last year, 64. His longest catch on the year right now is 29 yards.
Damn.
Dude, and again, the craziest, the thing with all of it, and especially you would know as a everyone likes to go back with Baker Mayfield. Everyone likes to go back to that 11 game run when he went 8-3 in 2020. Everyone likes to talk about that. One, it was in 2020. Two, everyone, once Odell got hurt. Why did Odell get hurt? Trying to make a tackle on the interception Baker Mayfield threw. Yes. Trying to make the tackle on the interception Baker threw.
On a trend of forcing the ball to that player. Because I don't even think that he honestly wanted to be throwing to Odell as much as he was throwing to him. It was media pressure and coaching. Everything him seemed like that was why he was throwing to Odell.
If you're getting pressured by the media, you're not an NFL quarterback, bro. Exactly. The Cleveland I cannot imagine that the Cleveland media are super horrible, man. I can't imagine it. Seriously, you take a look at in 2020, it's like most of his picks, his best season was barely above 60, or he barely just below 63% completion percentage. He was barely getting 7 yards per attempt, 26 touchdowns and 8 picks. Like that was his best year. I don't know, man. Like you take a look and everyone talks about, he was just forcing the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. Odell only had 43 targets. And yeah, I realize he got injured, but like 23 of 43 were caught. And again, you and me both know it's not like Odell was dropping it. It's not like Odell was
he had a few games where he was out there having bricks for hands, but it was not him.
But either way, even you talk about the media.
Those 20 misses were probably 5 of his drops.
You talk about the media pressure and like forcing the ball to Odell. Yeah, when he's open, stop throwing into triple coverage. And you know what? Let's say you did want to throw it into like double coverage, give Odell a chance. Give Odell a chance. Stop throwing it to the defender.
You're throwing it to the defenders. You're not even giving him a chance.
Throwing it 5 yards behind him, and then
with someone running straight at you, and you're like, all right, now it's Odell time.
Yeah, no, you throw it 5 yards over Odell Beckham Jr.'s head or to his left and his right when he can't get there. And then you're like, well, Odell was asking for the ball. Throw it to him good. How about? Yeah. Throw it to him good.
He might make some plays when the ball is in his catching radius. And he actually has a ridiculous catching radius. We've seen a few crazy plays from this receiver. So,
no, exactly.
give him a chance. You just actually have to get it in that area. He can't jump 5 yards and stretch his arm. He's not Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, again, wherever Baker Mayfield goes, head coaches and wide receivers die. I'm checking right now on a specific stat. Okay, never mind. I was going to say I don't know if he's ever had a 1,000-yard receiver. No one was. Hey, in 2019, no one was screaming when Odell Beckham Jr. had 1,000 yards. No one was screaming that Baker Mayfield was forcing him the ball then. No one was saying he was forcing him the ball then. Yeah. But the second it went downhill, they're pointing fingers at your guy Odell. The second it goes downhill, man.
I'm just glad that he went out there and proved everybody wrong.
Hey, he did.
Watching those Rams games were fun.
He did.
I'm excited to see wherever he ends up going.
And I'm hoping he's in Green Bay. I know your hope was what was
my guess was Buffalo. I want him to go to Baltimore, but I imagine Buffalo Green Bay would be awesome too, but I want to see them kind of strap up because they can play good with what they got right now. Add that piece in and they're just going to be playing even better.
Yeah.
So, strap it up and then let's add in an extra party. I feel like that'd be the safer move instead of adding some extra stuff into this already jumbled up, mixed up issue. Like, let's just wait a little bit. But I don't know. I think Buffalo or Green Bay, but my top want would be Baltimore because it'd be cool to see. I don't want them forcing him the ball out there. I don't want them trying to feed him crazy. But if you had Odell out there instead of Rashad Bateman, which I'm not hating on him, but like it's levels. And Rashad Bateman can learn from a receiver like that too because he's out there doing his thing. I'm not gonna lie. And Duvernay, my bad.
Duvernay, yeah.
I mean, they're promising, but they're not a 30-year-old Odell. And that says something.
And we were going to say this one, but for the end, but we'll get into this now with since we're talking about Lamar, because Odell would easily be the best wide receiver Lamar has ever had by like a lot. Because who was the best
30-year-old Odell?
like who was the best before? Sammy Watkins or Dez or I mean or what, Hollywood Brown, who can't seem to catch the ball, like you know what I mean? So
I like how all of a sudden people are starting to switch that narrative. They're trying to use this as something against Lamar, that Hollywood goes over there and has this nice game and a couple nice games. Like,
it's also I think
he was not doing that. He was not doing that out there.
Yeah, no, he was no. You
it's
know
a
what
different
he was doing?
offense.
He was doing exactly what you saw towards the end. Were you watching that Raiders game when the Falcons or the Cardinals and Raiders played? And and Kyler dotted up on whatever it was, fourth down, to put him in position, and he dropped it.
That's what he was out there doing in Baltimore. He was getting butt naked and dropping passes. Now all of a sudden he goes off for this one game, and Lamar's the issue.
No, seriously, no. And it's like the craziest thing again. Marquise Brown, his best, again, 146 targets, and he only caught 91 of them. Like that's 55 balls, I think. 55 that were not caught. And I'm not saying Lamar throws the prettiest ball, but he throws a catchable one.
Yeah. When you're wide open, they're very catchable.
They're very catchable. They are. But hey, Lamar's going to be coming up for a contract. Lamar's going to be coming up for a contract.
This is another thing that I'm not really vibing with when people are trying to talk about Lamar and discredit him. It was obviously really bad. I can't defend the missed passes, but why are we acting like no other NFL quarterback puts a little bit too much air under the ball on a wide open receiver?
Thank you.
I've seen Mahomes do that way too much, and no one talks about it. I'm not over here like Mahomes all season. I'm not over here saying Rodgers or Mahomes are horrible, but they doing that same thing when Lamar misses the pass. But
I agree. He's going to be coming up for a contract here. I think the Ravens, the craziest thing is if the Ravens don't pay him, they're in the biggest. They've screwed their franchise, because they've built their entire franchise around Lamar. They're the team best suited for Lamar. But they're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And it doesn't seem like they want to give him all the guaranteed money that they want to. Obviously, I think the highest paid quarterback right now is Aaron Rodgers, making $50 million. Do I think that he's going to be up in $50 million territory? Probably not. But with the going rate, usually with quarterbacks, it just continues to climb.
Whoever's up next,
it's whoever's up next. But you take a look and numbers wise, I think we both know it's going to be in that like 46 to lower 50s range, probably. I would take a wild guess at. But what are the chances that he's not in Baltimore? Because Baltimore is fumbling the bag so hard. Because I'm not the biggest Lamar fan. Like, I'm not out here like saying he's a bona fide top 5 quarterback pounding the table for him. But at some point,
the proof is in the pudding.
At some point, the Ravens offense under Lamar, again, last year, I think a lot of people forget this. They were the number 1 seed in the AFC until Lamar got hurt. And it's not like Lamar was having a spectacular season, but they're the only team in the NFL with a quite literally explosive run game. No one else has that. They're the only team who I think could be down by 21 points and get back into the game by running the ball. Obviously, we've seen they can blow some leads, but I think they can get back into the game.
Team that can give that game up.
Them and the Falcons, man. Those bird teams, man. But like, I'm telling you, like they're gonna owe him a lot of money, and they're playing with fire. If they go the way that I think they're gonna go, and they're gonna start franchise tagging him, they're making a massive mistake. They're taking a risk, and what they're doing is they're starting a fire where there doesn't need to be one.
He clearly wants to be there.
Yeah,
he just wants the money guaranteed, and I don't even imagine that he wants to be like a top 3 paid quarterback. He clearly wants to be there. I imagine he's not sitting there like, nah, I need over 45 million or I'm not coming back. Like I could see him going under 45 and being like, yeah, I'm perfectly fine as long as it's guaranteed for the next 5 years. He clearly wants to be there. I don't understand exactly. They're starting a fire where there shouldn't be one.
And so
Homie is sitting over there trying to hose the fire down, And they're like, no, cut the line.
Adam Schefter reported earlier in September that Lamar rejected a 5-year extension worth over $250 million. But here's the key word. What's that guaranteed money? $133 million.
Exactly.
Half of it guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
Especially that's the other thing I don't understand. I just don't understand it as a whole. But you're not wanting to give the guaranteed money to the guy that like is literally your whole offense. Y'all built this offense. You guys did this. He didn't get drafted and like say like, oh, I need this, blah, blah, blah. They came in and built this whole thing around him. They failed with a couple of wide receiver picks and whatever's going on over there, but they're building all this around him. He's clearly their best player. So why are they also being like, well, he's too much of a risk. Like, we're not fully bought in. That's how I take this. I take it as they're not fully bought in on him. He's come out and got you an MVP. I mean, he's done stuff in the playoffs until he gets injured. He's done enough to prove he deserves the money that they're not trying to give him.
Well, and the thing with all of it truly is right now he's on pace to have his best season passing yards wise. Completion percentage is down. His average is down, but he has 12 passing touchdowns through 5 games so far. Yeah, he has 5 interceptions, but I think when he gives what he gives you on the ground, we're through 5 games and he's at 374 rushing yards. I'm pretty sure in the league right now he's top 5 in rush yards for on offense, or okay, maybe he's not top 5. He's top 10 for sure. He's 9th
though. Yeah,
he's 9th.
Why is there a quarterback in the top 10 of rushing yards? Like
exactly,
and then on top of that, he's tied for top 3 or whatever in passing. Is it 2 or 1 for passing touchdowns?
Touchdowns, I think he's 1. I think he's leading the league in passing touchdowns. But the craziest part of all of it is the people who are hitting Lamar or who are hating Lamar Jackson right now for protecting himself. Like people are like, oh, he's not getting the extra yard like he used to. Two things. One, that's exactly what the franchise. What's the franchise tag for? It's protecting the franchise. That's what it's doing. It's protecting. It's protecting the team. Lamar Jackson is protecting himself. I have no problem with that. 2, the entire reason you don't want to give him this money is because you're scared of him getting hurt. Him getting down and getting out of bounds is preventing him from getting hurt. Isn't this what you want?
He's literally out there being like, hey, I am here for y'all. I'm trying to stay. I am doing what you guys want.
Exactly. But then they're going to turn around and use it that he's not trying. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Yeah. He's doing exactly what you want him to do once he's under contract.
You have all those names out there for your secondary. They're still letting them fly past them, giving them 32 points every game. Mm-hmm. Y'all got, who is he throwing to? Who is he handing the ball off to? I know J.K. Dobbins and all that, but like, I can go up to like a random person on the street and be like, who's the running back for the Titans? They'll probably tell me Derrick Henry. If I ask them who's the running back for the Ravens, no joking, they probably will tell me Lamar Jackson before they think of J.K. Dobbins or Justice Hill or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
no, seriously,
I don't understand. Like, when we're thinking about like, I don't even know, like think about Madden ratings. He's the only 90 rated player on their team. I don't even think anybody else crosses 90 because Marlon Humphrey is out there getting toasted.
Same with Marcus Peters, same with Kyle Hamilton. Like, their defense has been, although they haven't points wise, they're like somehow middle of the pack. Offense wise, they're 4th in scoring this year. Again, defense wise, I'll double check. Defense wise, they're still giving up like 24 points a game. They're like technically they're middle of the pack, but if you are watching them, they're way, way, way worse than middle of the pack. They're getting
It's them in the first half. It's like the first half for every team they've played so far is just them being like, all right, let's test the waters. And then the second half, they come out and just pop them.
They're giving up 290 yards passing per game. And that's number 1 in the league. Like
with those corners, with
those
secondary.
Corners.
Those names, you're like, those names, you're not thinking they're putting up any passing yards.
Yep. And then you really take a look at it, really, because I mean, like, they gave up 9 to the Jets, and they only gave up 17 to the Bengals. But you take a look, obviously, giving up 35 second half points to the Dolphins, unacceptable. Like, again, obvious, and 28 in the fourth quarter, first off. So you can talk about Baltimore. Oh, they let their foot off the gas. They still scored 38. 38 should win you pretty much every game you play in, right? Obviously, like, I'm just going to take a look. Let's look at this from the defense. Let's take a look at their second half here. All right, touchdown, punt, touchdown, 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 touchdown. Three straight. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 straight touchdown drives to end the game, and the first one out of the half. You forced one punt. You forced one punt on a bunch of incomplete passes. After you got a tripping penalty that pushed him back.
I don't even know what to say watching them. Like, watching that defense. At some point, like,
no one has done, especially you take a look at like Lamar Jackson, and like, because everyone likes to hit the biggest hit is that, is his passing game, blah, 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 blah. He can't pass, all this stuff, he's a running back, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, all right, here's their wide receivers. Rashad Bateman, he's a first round pick, and he's, I guess, again, we will see on that one. But for right now, no, thank you.
Not Devin my Duvernay, wide receiver one.
Devin Duvernay, who's a third round pick, a late third round pick, I should say. It's not like he just slipped out of the second round. Demarcus Robinson, who was a fourth round pick by Kansas City back in 2016, and it's not like he's put up fantastic career stats. Just taking a look, yeah, his most receiving yards in an entire season is 466 back in 2020 with Patrick Mahomes. So let's not pretend he's some stud. Then you continue to go down the line of like who they have at wide receiver. Tylan Wallace, James Proche, like, they don't have these huge receivers, minutes. and they don't even have these big time running backs, to be super honest with you. Exactly. like J.K. Dobbins, if you want to call him, he's not big time. He was a second round pick back in 2020. He's not big time. You can call him an average to good running back, sure, but they've never invested in a weapon other than Hollywood Brown, and we know what comes with Hollywood Brown. Here's how everyone felt about Hollywood Brown. The Cardinals gave up a first round for Hollywood Brown, and everyone was automatically like, oh, the Ravens fleeced him. That's who he was dealing with.
Exactly.
That's who he was dealing with. Let's not play revisionist history here because he played good in a game with his college quarterback, like the person he put up the best numbers with in college with Kyler Murray. Let's not play revisionist history here with Marquise Brown just because he has 417 yards and 3 touchdowns so far this year. Let's not do this. Like, let's truly not.
Two completely different like systems, and I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be crazy when he just continues to go off once Hopkins comes back, because it's almost like he's not the number one guy out there. Like, I won't be surprised when he continues to flourish, because, like you said, the quarterback situation, that's a better situation for him just based off of chemistry alone, and the whole system that they're in when, it's not double XP weekend. He's got it. Like, it's a good thing for him.
No, but I mean, yeah, but like
where he was with the Ravens, like, with that kind of receiver, his young age, the quarterback they got, that system, it's not a system that a receiver is getting plugged into at that size. What he does, that's not what they need.
Yeah,
they're not. That's not a receiver that's going to go into that system and go crazy. Go to Arizona, it's a completely different story. I probably wouldn't be shitting on Rashad Bateman if he was in Arizona as well. I imagine he'd be doing good things, because I mean, they have weapons galore. Like,
yeah, honestly,
focus on Hollywood Brown. There's still people to focus on when Hopkins is out. Like,
I think
completely different situation.
What the Ravens need to do, to be super honest with you, I think one is invest. Maybe not like a first, or invest another pick in a running back with J.K. Dobbins. I think do that. Get a handful of possession receivers and draft like a deep threat. Like, again, okay. Let me say this better. Draft a deep threat who can catch, please.
Yes.
Draft a deep threat who can catch.
Not an experiment.
No,
exactly. Not a DK Metcalf. No shade, but we don't need a big guy who's fast and be like, oh, yes, like,
yeah.
How many years has Lamar been playing? Like, we're too invested in this man's career to not be given him the weapons he deserves.
Exactly. No, exactly. And speaking of someone who's, we talk about doing a lot with a little. Talk about doing a little with a lot. I realize they made the Super Bowl last year, but Zach Taylor, man, you and me talk about it constantly. Zach Taylor is the most overrated coach in the NFL, and he's and the worst thing that could have happened for him, or not the worst, but a bad thing was them making the Super Bowl. Because that bought him that bought him 3 or 4 years. Yeah. It did. It did. It bought him 3 or 4 years. And have they once, like, when was the last time you were like, man, that Cincinnati offense? Oof. Like last year they
literally
were good
probably
in points
like
per game.
in the playoffs when not even that was just me saying damn Jamar Chase.
No, exactly. No, like their entire game plan is spam to Jamar Chase, and the craziest thing is like Joe Burrow, is because of how good he is, and because of I think how much pride he has. He wants to be able to like beat the challenge. I think it's almost like an Aaron Rodgers type thing. Everyone keeps comparing him to Brady, but I think it's a Rodgers type thing where it's like the comparison always has been like, hey, Brady will see a play like that. He'll know what the defense is doing, and he'll be like, all right, I'm going to audible into something that's going to beat that. And Rodgers on his own is just kind of. Rodgers is just kind of like, all right, fuck it. I know what they're doing.
Let that route build, and exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Burrow has some of that. So he's not like calling these, what was it? Was it the game against Dallas? I think it was. He just looked over at the sideline and was just like, no more empty protection to Zach Taylor. You hear him on the hot mic, no more empty protection.
Yeah.
Like they are going to get him
killed. Like, why are you even trying that against the Cowboys? Well, yeah, to the point where your quarterback has to point out, hey, this ain't working, bro.
The don't block Micah Parsons experiment shouldn't need more than 3 or 4 plays before you figure out that.
You shouldn't need one play.
It
should not double team Micah Parsons. And experiment shouldn't need more than one play.
And again, I literally think, you know what? Hey, no one has not blocked Micah Parsons before. Hey, you know what? I'm not a football guy. I'm not a football coach. Maybe it had a shot. Who knows? Maybe it had a shot. But you know what? After one play of watching Joe Burrow get crushed by Micah Parsons, I'd figure out maybe that one's not going to work.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I get what they want to do with their offense. Like, I understand they got a goal, but I don't understand how you as a coach can just sit there and watch your quarterback get pummeled like that and be like, I know he's getting up and saying like, I'm good. Because Joe Burrow, like you said, he just got that pride. Like, it's not a bad pride. It's the pride where he's like, I'm going out there and I'm going to do everything I can to win.
It's not a bad pride, but it's a pride that's going to get him killed.
Exactly.
And he's not going to know any better because Zach Taylor Taylor is going to let him kill himself.
His coach is seeing him get up and be like, I'm perfectly fine. And being like, oh yeah, that's a good sign. Keep it running. Like,
hey,
he's just buying into what you're selling him. You can please sell him something else, because I don't understand. They literally they run like my ultimate team offense. Horrible offensive line. I just buy a good receiver and I'm like, fuck it. Like, let's go.
Yeah, no, quite literally. I mean, do you remember the meme coming into the draft? The Jamar Chase versus Penei Sewell meme? Oh, I'm gonna bring this up. Hold up.
I just remember that was it was seen as a risky decision, even though obviously it was the best decision they could have made. But
no, like you can
only throw it to Jamar Chase when you have people blocking for you to get time.
This is their entire offense, truly.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. No. I remember this now. Pretty accurate,
right? And the fact that we're sitting here saying that it's accurate with an NFL head coach is mind blowing, because here's the thing: he came from the same Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan tree. He came from that, so you'd think, hey, their running game should be pretty good, right?
There, yeah.
Nope. Bottom 10 in 2019 his first year. Bottom 10 in his second year. Bottom 10 in his third year. Or let me do the math to make sure he's really bottom 10. But the fact that I'm having to do the math here, right on the edge of bottom 10, 22nd. So he's been 22nd or below. And and again, they were 22nd and below in the year that they made the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they got no scrub back there. Joe Mixon can carry that thing, bro. I don't know.
And then
it was so frustrating watching that.
And then here we are again this year, and he's bottom 8 again. He's bottom 8 again. And here's
even when they were trying to feed him, like,
and it's
they just can't block. They don't know what they're doing up there.
You think back to the Super Bowl. Who's the running back who's in with the game on the line? Samaje P. Ryan. Samaje P. Ryan.
It's not even like he's an outstanding pass catching back.
No, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna check this, but if I'm not mistaken, didn't they go for it on a 4th down in the Super Bowl and had Samaje P. Ryan in instead?
I'm pretty sure. I know that there were a few very crucial downs where
I'm gonna look at a turnover on. Okay, so they only had one turnover on downs, but if I had to take a wild guess, they probably had a couple of plays. First. Oh, never mind. But yeah, I don't know. First drive of the game, they were at midfield, and on 3rd and 1, they handed it to Samaje P. Ryan and got no gain, and then threw an incomplete pass to Jamar Chase on 4th down. I mean, like, know your personnel, man.
Yeah, I don't understand those kinds of decisions, especially when you know you're about to hand it off. Like, you're not fooling anybody. Because even when you do hand that ball off, like, your offensive line ain't blocking for him. So it's better that you got a dude that can probably make some big fat dudes miss and, like, get going somewhere rather than, P. Ryan.
Yeah. And you take a look, and Joe Mixon this year, he hasn't been super effective. He's averaging around 19 carries a game. He's only getting 3.1 yards per carry. But here's what can't happen. And again, this is all because of how Joe Burrow's been sacked 18 times. He's ran the ball 23 times. And I got to be honest, Zach Taylor's pretty incompetent, but he's not calling quarterback keepers. He's not calling read option for Joe Burrow. He's running out of pressure. I think you got to, again, don't just run the ball to run the ball, but, like, sometimes run the ball so that Joe Burrow isn't getting killed.
Yes. Give him a break.
So that he's not getting killed. Because, again, we're looking at a situation, and I think you talked about it, and I think you sent it to me. Like, Joe Burrow could very well be the next Andrew Luck. He could be the next Andrew Luck, where he is getting kicked. Because, again, people forget how, and I think, again, this is just as, like, you're getting these newer guys like Allen and Herbert and Mahomes. People forget how good Andrew Luck was. Andrew Luck was legit incredible, and in the prime of his career said, "I'm done because I'm getting killed." They are loading up for him. He's going to get killed again.
They can't have it like that where he gets killed enough to where he's like, "I got to get out of here," and then when he leaves, that's when we're like, "Next year, check it. We got the best offensive line in football." Like, well, I feel like this is how you know that Zach Taylor, like, shouldn't have his job, because he's out there trying to run an offense that is built around an offensive line that can actually block. You're trying to run these offenses with long forming routes and, like, all these routes where you need people to be blocking to actually have time to have these plays develop. You just have really good talent out there to where they can get away with it for a decent amount of time. But that Dolphins game was big proof to me where I was like, why do they think that they have something that they don't? Because they were trying to build that running game, because the whole notion coming in was this running game sucks and they got Joe Mixon, so what's going on? They were out there doing their thing. There were a few plays where the offensive line actually looked competent and they were blocking out there. But then a couple plays down the line, we get to see who they truly are. So I don't know if it's they don't got a good offensive line coach, because there's some plays where I'm like, wait a second, they're getting somewhere with this. And then 49 other plays where they're just not going nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, sitting there, and it's not even just pass blocking, it's run blocking too, because Joe Mixon should not have games where he has 19 carries for 35 yards.
No, exactly. And I mean, and staying on the topic of sacks, here's the craziest thing. Joe Burrow, including playoffs, has played 35 career games. Guess how many times he's been sacked?
90.
120 times. He's in the regular season. This year he's played. I'll walk you through it. In 2020, the regular season, played 10 games, was sacked 32 times. The only reason he played 10 games, that's right, because Jamar Chase was getting pressure and blew his knee out. Last year, in 2021, he was sacked 51 times in the regular season in 16 games. He didn't play in week 17, otherwise he would have been sacked more. And in 4 playoff games. We forget this because the Bengals won. In 4 playoff games, he was sacked 19 times, and he was sacked 11 times in their playoff win against the Titans. We forget that. So there's another 19 on top
he
of
was
it.
Getting
and this year
murdered.
And this year through 5 games, again, he was sacked 19 times in 4 games in the playoffs last year. And then 5 games this year, and he's been sacked 18 times. He's been sacked 120 times in 35 games.
Do you know how quickly...
You don't survive that.
Do you know how quickly head coaches, front office, I don't know, the whole team will be blown up if Tom Brady was getting sacked that much in the playoffs.
No, literally. No.
He wouldn't even be there the next year.
And Tom Brady, well, here's the thing, and with Tom Brady, and it comes with experience, Tom Brady, even if he knows his offensive line stinks, he's getting the ball out quick.
He's getting it out.
And you know what? No, and Zach Taylor, again, he'll know more football than he'll forget more football than I'll ever know, like X's and O's. But you know what I can tell you is not going to work? Playing behind a shit offensive line and being like, after he's getting sacked for 5, 6, 7 times, hey, let's try this deep develop. Hey, let's try this deep shot to Jamar Chase.
Yep. Let's get Jamar Chase on a crosser 30 yards down the field.
Call some screen. You got to call some screens. You got to call something. You got to call easy completions. You have to do something so that he's not getting crushed. Again, we're looking at Andrew Luck, the second Andrew Luck. We really are. We're looking at it right in the eyes. I'm gonna go find exactly Andrew Luck's type of stats.
With all this like concussion protocol stuff, I'm surprised that Joe Burrow hasn't had. He probably has had 8 concussions that we don't know about.
Probably
as much as he's getting sacked out there, and those are not. He's not getting like how the refs want them to sack them and just pick them up and lay them lightly on the ground. That boy is getting popped.
Yeah,
I feel like those defensive line, when they line up against that team, they're licking their chops, and they're not like, people might like Joe Burrow off the field, but those defensive players, they are not fucking with him when they're on the field, and it's clear they're out there for blood when they're playing him because they know it is free reign to the quarterback when they call a passing play.
Yeah, and so Andrew Luck he played 94 career games, including the playoffs. 94. He was sacked a grand total. Sorry, I forgot. So I'm redoing the math. 185 times. So he's getting sacked about 2 times a game, as what I think, just over 2 times a game. 2.5 is what I think the math works out to. I'm pretty sure it works out to close to 4 times a game for Joe Burrow. And here's the craziest thing: Joe Burrow in last year, including the playoffs, right? With the 19 sacks last year, he was sacked 70 times last year, 70 times in 20 games, 70 times in 20 games. Again, let me break this.
Players don't even end their career with 70 tackles.
Dude, regular season wise, he was sacked 51 times last year. That is worse than any season Andrew Luck has ever had. The most Andrew Luck was ever sacked was 41 times. You're looking at the next Andrew Luck, man. Talent-wise, and probably getting killed-wise. Hey, but honestly, maybe not if they're going to continue to call those roughing the passers like that. Or maybe because he's going to be still taking those shots, they're just going to get 15 yards out of it, so it's not going to go on the stat sheet.
Matter of fact, let the offensive lineman run a couple routes too. We gonna keep getting these yards.
Shit, man. So obviously over the weekend, and including Sunday and Monday, we had 2 of the all-time worst roughing the passer calls I've ever seen. Obviously, the first one was on Tom Brady.
I also have to bring up, speaking of refs, the holding on that field goal.
Makeup call.
What the fuck?
Makeup call.
They literally,
Makeup call. I'll tell you.
I've never seen that in my life.
Funny thing, the last time it was called defensive holding on a field goal was against the Raiders in 2015 on Khalil Mack. So, I don't know. Odd time to call it for sure. Technically, it was a penalty, but I'm sure that happens on every field goal.
Yeah, let's go and rewatch every PAT from
Yeah.
All those games, I guarantee you that happened.
Multiple times.
And at way worse. And a way
it
worse
probably happens. It probably happens 3 or 4 times across the line on every play.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw 2 horrible roughing the passer calls. One on Tom Brady, shocker. That would have given the Falcons, I believe, the chance to get the ball back. It was a stop on 3rd down. They would have gotten the chance to get the ball back and drive to try to take the lead against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just again, do I think that they would have scored? Maybe not, but they had scored all of their points so far in that 4th quarter, I'm pretty sure. They scored all their points in the 4th quarter. They had just done a 12-play, 75-yard drive. And I think that they were going to have, to end that game, they were going to have, let me see how much time left. I think they forced pretty much they got a bullshit defensive holding. Then they missed an offensive pass interference. But yeah, they would have gotten the ball back with just around 3 minutes left is what they would have gotten the ball back with. But then you take a look, and obviously in the Chiefs game, Chris Jones had the ball in his hand. And here I'm gonna bring up the officials. I'm gonna bring up the pool questions, because this I'm gonna bring up both of them just so I can really read exactly what he thought, because I don't believe this at all. Let me hear. I'm gonna go up to the NFL.
Literally, that's a turnover right there. That's
a turnover.
That's a nice stat for Chris Jones. Oh,
that's what that is. Here, I will share this to the screen. The NFL pool report. They asked him after the game. This is for the one with basically the quarterback is in the pocket and he's in a passing posture, so he gets full protection of all aspects. What we give the quarterback in a passing posture. So when he was tackled, my ruling was the defender landed on him with full body weight. The quarterback is protected from being tackled with full body weight. My ruling was roughing the passer for that reason. Later, down at the bottom, he says, just as if he'd thrown the ball, he still gets protection. It's the same here, just a loose ball of another sort, but he would still get protection that is afforded to players in a passing posture that extends after he no longer has the ball. If you haven't seen the play, here it is. Chris Jones has it. Chris Jones, and again, I wish that we had another angle on here, and I know they didn't show the other angle. Look at Chris Jones's hand here. He's
doing everything that you would want him to do in that situation.
He's trying to brace his fall. He's trying to brace his fall. On top of that,
it's a sack.
It's a sack.
We're playing
football. It's a sack fumble. And again, the worst one was the one with Tom Brady. And the second I saw it, you just knew it was going to be a penalty, because it was the exact same tackle that happened on Tua. When Tua had his big concussion against the Dolphins.
That was my biggest takeaway from all that was this is.
But here's
the Tua effect.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know what that sack from Grady Jarrett looked like? Every sack Aaron Donald has ever had.
Yes, he's known for the wraparound, sling him to the ground. Because if he gets a hand on you, you're done. So
all of them. And here's the thing. And you know what? It happened later in that exact same Chiefs game. It happened. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
I'll try to find it. It happened later in the Chiefs game. Who was it? It was I think it was Denzel Perryman. It was the exact same.
If they had these refs reffing Bengals games, they would not have enough flags to be throwing. Because I've seen these sacks replicated about 4 times on any given Sunday watching a Bengals game against Joe Burrow. So what do we got to do to get them calls going out there for a free 15, like we were just saying? Because I've seen Joe Burrow take a lot bigger hits in a passing posture. So
and again, and you know, the craziest thing of all of it is that they it's the way that they phrased it, right? Like I'm trying again. I'm still
in a bigger hole.
Well, it's again, they're setting themselves up. Basically, after any of those sacks, you're now going to be looking for here. I have the Brady roughing the passer versus the Mahomes sack. I have that for you. There's the one on Brady. Here's the one on Brady, and he's rolling on top of him. Brady braces his fall, does not hit his head. Grady Jarrett does not land with his body weight on him. Denzel Perriman slings him to the ground. What's the difference between those two? The name on the back of the jersey.
What is Grady Jarrett supposed to do in that? What is he supposed to do in that situation? Is he supposed to stop and let Brady rest on top of his body?
No.
Like, what's supposed to happen there? That's the momentum of what is happening.
The only difference between these two calls, the only difference is the name on the back of the jersey.
And you would think the other name would be getting those calls as well. They just must not have got the memo.
Something. But like, this looks like every Aaron Donald sack ever, right? I mean, does it not?
It does. I don't know how I've never thought of that till now, but now that you say that, it literally does. Like,
here,
I don't know if that's the only way that Aaron Donald could get in the backfield, but that is literally textbook Aaron Donald sack. Like, I never thought about that until now. He's about to be catching bodies.
I mean, I'm just like, it's what he's known for. I'm looking for a replay here. I'm trying to find one of Aaron Donald. But again, we both, I don't even need to show it. You and me both know that is.
Yeah.
Are that like, did they just, because if they're going to set the precedent and call it, then you better call it. Because you can't be playing favorites. You can't be playing favorites.
Yeah, he decided to play at 43 years old or however old he is. Like, yeah, we can't be trying to protect him. Like, he out here doing his thing. He made this decision. So if he's gonna get sacked, he's gonna get sacked.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and again, you can't keep doing this shit. Like,
at some point, like, I don't know. The other thing I don't understand is, how are we still not at the point where the NFL is like hammering down on these horrible calls? Why are we not at the point yet where we're getting to like, okay, like, we need to fucking have something needs to happen.
Well, and seriously, because like, you take a look because NFL officiating. You know what I don't think the answer is, and just because I know the NFL, the answer isn't make this reviewable. That's not the answer, because we saw what happened with pass interference, and it made it worse. It made it worse because you saw what was obviously pass interference. The refs got too cocky within themselves, didn't want to change the call, and that was the end of it. You gotta, like, exactly. Like, I have no problem on either of those Mahomes or Brady sacks. If the whistle has already been blown and you do that, fine. Obviously, throw the flag. But there's nothing wrong with the way that was sacked, other than what happened to Tua. But I've seen what happened to Tua. You know what? It literally happened to Chris Olave. It happened to, on that catch for the Seahawks. It happened to Chris Olave. But here, they're trying to protect the quarterbacks. If you're
protect everybody, that affects everyone the same exact way.
If you think what happened to Tua was dangerous, you should think exactly what happened to Chris Olave was dangerous too. And you can't just, one's a quarterback and the other one. Hey, the receiver was too busy trying to hang on to the ball to be able to try to brace his fall. So, like, if we're protecting people, and I'm not saying make that a penalty, I'm saying set a standard. Set a standard. Do it.
It's horrible to say with the Tua context, but you're playing a contact sport. Yeah. Unfortunate things happen all the time. Clearly.
All the time.
So, like, we either got to get with the program or make this shit fucking flag football, because
figure it out. Again,
it's every day it's getting harder and harder and harder for defenses to play defense.
No, it's because it's the strike zone. You can't hit him in the head.
You can't hit him in the head. Is just running. They're doing whatever they can to score. They're not caring about nothing. The defense, they got to think, okay, if he's going up to catch this and I tackle him right now, is that a defenseless receiver? Well, shit, if I go back there, if I'm in the backfield and he's right about to get the ball off, I got to completely dodge him. What if he doesn't get the ball off? So now what do I do? I'm in a shit spot.
Here's what I got a problem with. Again, you can't hit him high, you can't hit him low, right? Obviously. But you can sling him to the ground, and that's a penalty. But you know what's not a penalty? This did not get flagged for a penalty. Going down at the knees.
That was horrible.
The exact same thing.
And he's
the exact same thing.
I was like, okay, that's the type of energy I want to see out of a quarterback when that happens.
I'm pretty sure he got hit when he got hit when he slid too earlier in the game. Like and again,
that
low key
was bad, but also like they remember the fake slide.
Exactly. Yeah. So like
that one I had less that was like, NFL giving him some karma from back from college, but
but it's like
what is that?
How is a normal sack on Tom Brady and a normal sack on Derek Carr a penalty? But that literally the entire reason that they added in that you can't go low was because Tom Brady blew his knee out in 2007 and Carson Palmer did it in 2006, I think. So you can't go low. You can't go high on them because they don't want any hits to the head. And I think that honestly they're losing some of it's getting kind of frustrating some of the some of the stupid calls, like the one that Brady benefited from in the AFC Championship, right? He hit the shoulder pad, and that was, hit the head. It didn't hit the head, but they thought it did. And so, a slight touch to the helmet's worth 15 yards and a personal foul because, dirty intention, whatever. You can't hit him high. You can't hit him low. You can't land with their body weight on him because of Aaron Rodgers, because he broke his collarbone, because Romo broke his collarbones. You can't hit him, and you can't land with your body weight on him. What do you want? And now you can't throw him down to the ground.
What are you what we're going to do?
You know what we're going to start to see?
It's going to be touch. It's going to be touch to get them down in 5 years.
What we're going to start seeing, and I truly believe this, what we're going to start seeing is that it's basically going to be, you're going to have them wrapped up, and someone's going to give up on the play because they don't want to throw them down to the ground, and a quarterback's going to escape. That it's either going to be that's going to happen, or basically you're just going to have to hug them until they
blow the play dead.
Until they blow the play dead.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're hugging them like this and they got the ball down here, they can still shovel it out.
They can still do something with it.
They can still shovel it out. And because of how the NFL, the rules on intentional grounding, if you're like under the stress, or if you're like hit when you throw, if you're being hit and it affects your throw, I think is how it's worded. Yeah. It can't be intentional grounding.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot. Again, they're making it way harder to play defense than to play offense.
Yep.
And I think that's why you're seeing generally the quality of defense does not match the quality of offense. It doesn't, because they can't play how they used to.
They have
you can throw it over the middle because every receiver's defenseless.
As soon as the changes came in with the whole hands on it, like the cornerbacks defensive not being able to have hands on the receivers past 5 yards, I was like, oh, here we go. Like, this is where it's going downhill. Coverage was so much more entertaining to watch when they were getting physical throughout the whole play. Like,
you could hand fight. Now it's like, and Derek Carr has done this a lot. It's Derek Carr's favorite play on his entire call sheet is the underthrow a deep pass, then the receiver tries to go back to it, and he runs through the defensive back, and you
got his hands up, not looking back.
It's his favorite play. It's Derek Carr's favorite play, and it just makes it 10 times harder to play defense.
Yep. Because what are you supposed to do in that situation? This dude is running back towards me. I covered him perfectly throughout the whole play, and homeboy can't throw it far, and now I'm in trouble.
He has a step on me. We're almost to the end zone. Derek Carr lands it at the 10, and it's a pass interference because Buddy couldn't get back. Because again, and he's it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. NFL officiating, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Social media doesn't help it either, because
because now
we get to see it. Now we get to see the replay for the next 7 days until the next game. So it's stuck in our minds, and everyone's reporting on it. Everyone's talking about it throughout the whole week. And then we get to the next week, and they make a worse call in one game, and then that's all we talk about.
Well, I think we're also like, not to get deep here, but like we're in like a society where it's like everyone wants to be right on everything. So I think it's like, you see a play that is really close and everyone's like, oh, that's definitely this. And it's like, it's definitely nothing. Like the DK Metcalf fumble in the Saints game. Everyone's like, oh, that's so clearly, a catch and he's down, or it's an incomplete pass. And I'm like, listen, there's 3 different ways it could go. It could be a fumble, an incomplete pass, or a catch and he's down. And I honestly, after watching the replay 10 times, I have no idea which one it was.
So, and that's where you I don't know. Incomplete pass. That's the easiest answer.
But no matter what side you go on, there's going to be someone on the other side claiming that was 100% this. And it's like, you have no idea. Just because you feel like, I felt like it was probably an incomplete pass, but like probably an incomplete pass. That doesn't hold up in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Probably. That doesn't hold up. That does not read true on a transcript. 100%.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. It's every year.
It's not only it's not only harder for the defenses, for the average viewer. I'm turning the game off as soon as some stupid shit happens with the refs. I'm out. If I'm watching a game that I'm completely uninterested in, like if I'm watching like Falcons versus like Panthers, like literally anybody against the Falcons, and I see a bullshit call, like I'm out. I already don't care for this game. Don't care for either of these teams. They're both gonna put up like 19 points. So I'm not here to watch this once they start dragging the game out because they want to throw bullshit flags. The only sport that I can deal with that in is basketball. But that's honestly even worse because that is so fast paced that stupid calls like that just completely ruin everything. But
it's the NFL has an officiating problem. And honestly, until you make these guys like full-time NFL employees where their job is officiating for these 3 months, the other 9 months, they're training on officiating. They're having the conversations about what to do with some of these rules. And until we get to that point, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah, seriously, they're not out here getting fined for having too many missed calls or whatever. Like there's no accountability for them. They just walk back home.
Because the two worst calls I've ever seen was the Fail Mary for Green Bay versus Seattle. It was that. And then it was the 2019 NFC Championship, or the 2018 NFC Championship, the no call on the pass interference Rams versus Saints. Those are the 2 single worst calls I've ever seen. And but here's the thing. In 2012 or 2013, whenever the Fail Mary was, those were replacement refs. And tell me,
there's an excuse there.
Please, but here's the thing. Please tell me that the refs now are better than replacement refs. You can't.
I could not confidently say that.
You can't. You could pull 6 dudes off the street, and other than the procedural penalties, like illegal shift or illegal formation. If you put a bunch of, if you
go into a bar,
three of you and 3 of me. Deep. 3 of you and 3 of me, you throw us out on the field. We could call holding, pass interference. We could do reviews. We could figure this shit out.
And I truly believe you, I ain't getting in the way of the players, and I'm keeping up with them. I'm probably dusting them. Put me in the Dolphins game. I will be in the end zone while Tyreek Hill is still running his route. Before Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Exactly.
No,
exactly. They're going to be keeping up with me
until they make the refs full-time employees. This is what we're going to see, and there's no right way to fix it because making every penalty reviewable, it's going to slow the game the entire time.
Yeah, if
you're going to make them reviewable, that means you're going to make them available to challenge. If you're going to make the penalties available to challenge, you're probably going to have to give every team an extra challenge. Right, because you don't want someone blowing you don't want to blow one of your 2 challenges on a holding call in the first quarter, right? Like you just don't want to do that. So they got an officiating problem. They've had it for years. They are going to continue to have it. This is probably going to be a recurring topic.
Because I don't imagine anything to do with the quarterback is going to be better in next season after what happened to Tua, especially if he depending on his timeline. I don't want to see him play this year again, to be honest. I don't know what's happening with him, but especially after that, it's not gonna get any better with the reffing for that situation in the backfield with a quarterback.
It's not gonna get any better. They're not gonna figure it out, to be honest. But we're the suckers in all of that because we're still gonna sit down and watch the games and regardless how bad the refereeing
spinning back every Sunday.
Exactly, and they know it's true, so they don't have to improve their product. Very similar to Madden, 2K, FIFA. They own a monopoly on football. No one's going to go watch the USFL had pretty good ratings, but they are also on when the NFL is not. So
yeah.
No one's choosing to watch other pro football during NFL season. It's just not happening. That was our last topic. We've been here for a fat minute, hour 35.
Damn.
All right.
Not bad.
Hey, for me, at Emmitt J. Savoras on Instagram and Twitter, bro. I don't know what we're gonna call this yet. Again, I don't know what we're gonna call this yet. At Cam R sucks for old Cameron.
I can't tell which hand is which. Oh, yep. Okay. Now I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Instagram and SoundCloud. Go check them out right here.
There you go. Cam R sucks. Yeah, I have no idea what we're gonna call this. We're gonna have to figure that out. Hey, but we're gonna for sure this podcast. We're gonna be posting clips. We're gonna be posting clippies for sure.
Yeah.
On YouTube. Hey, we'll try to be back next Wednesday. I'm sure we're gonna be talking about the Packers losing to the Jets. We'll probably be talking about Zach Taylor's dumbass. We'll probably be talking about another stupid NFL call.
And another 40 points given up by the Ravens defense.
Exactly. Hey, but until